All right, ladies and gentlemen, hunters of all ages, welcome back. It is Saturday, October 24th, 2020, and we got a new edition of the Pocket Change Market Coin Report for you to consider as you go into this weekend's, treasure hunting activities, whether you're a coin roll hunter or maybe you like going to the local shows or coin shops. And you really want to cherry pick something nice, whether it's for your collection or possibly to resell. Okay, that's the main reason why you guys are here, is to find out exactly how much these cool errors and varieties sell for that people find on a daily basis. You got that right. People are hunting and hunting and hunting quite quite well these days. With the new coins coming out and then the holidays just around the corner, it's always a good time to be cherry picking out there. And yeah, especially this time of year, it's definitely no exception. So the main drive of the Pocket Change Market Report, as you guys know, is that these are just amazing coins that you can find. And they don't necessarily have to be of the highest caliber in terms of grades. When you have a error or variety, as long as you're able to take really good photos of your coins, okay, and then post them up on eBay, do a 7-day auction format type sale, or a buy it now if there's a specific amount of money that you want to get for it. This is definitely the place to research that type of selling format. That's important. And most importantly, these are coins, ladies and gentlemen, that you find raw and you just turn around and sell them. There's no need to ship these off to PCGS or NGC or some other third-party authenticator. Spend all the extra money when the error and variety speaks for itself. You literally can sell these for whatever the market commands, right? And that also goes for high grades and even some low grades type stuff. There's really no... there's nothing that you have to worry about when it comes to that sort of thing. Errors and varieties sell for exactly that, regardless of the actual grade state. All right, so we're going to go ahead and jump right in. These are all sales from the last 24 to 36 hours. And oh boy, we got to start off with probably one of the most controversial coins out there that probably sells for more money than it deserves. Okay, so we got 1969S. Lincoln Memorial Cent. As you guys know, there is an incredible double-to-die obverse that can be found. There's roughly about 20 pieces that have been found and graded, so they are in the census. But when you come across something like this that has the appearance of something that it's really not, then it really makes you wonder, exactly what the marketability for a machine-doubled 1969S is. Okay, keep in mind, the reason why that these things have the value in the market that they do today has everything to do with the tie-in of the double-to-die obverse FS101 69S. So as you can see on this coin right here, you have some pretty strong machine doubling, which is captured in black and white imagery, by the way. So we got some Art Deco going on here of the 20s, roaring 20s style photography. But the close-ups are perfect. They're in great shape. High res, you know exactly what you're getting, and because of that, this seller has sold 8 of these, okay, and he has all of them up as basic buy it now listings. You add it to your cart and then check out for $59.99, excuse me, plus shipping and tax. All right, so this particular one sold for $65.19. That's with tax out the door. But as you can see, yeah, there is a market for something that's neither an error or variety, but it has been embraced as a coin with a lot of, wow factor. I've seen these 69Ss go for a lot more money based off on the severity of the machine doubling that these show. All right, so that's the first one there. The next one that we have here is a 1969 C series $5 Federal Reserve note, which has an obvious omission of print right here on this line. It's called a gutter fold. I've talked about these before. I like to talk about them every week if I could. And the way these happen is when the sheets begin their printing process, there's actually a little wrinkle in there. So if the wrinkle is not stretched out and it's printed over, then this is the end byproduct. Okay, so as you could tell from this note, the gutter fold has been tightened up so that way it's still a wrinkle throughout all the printing processes. All right, so on the reverse, it shows exactly where that gutter fold would be. It would only show on one side. Okay, on this side right here, you have a complete print on the reverse. But this one right here sold for $54. A very valuable note. Quite a common error out there in currency collecting. Okay, so here's a coin that really doesn't look all that great. You know, it's a coin that obviously has seen quite a bit of circulation wear, but we're talking about a 2000 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial cent. You guys know exactly what this one is. Wide AM variety right here. So yeah, this is still a coin that's being searched out there, and they're continuously being found. It's not a rare variety by any stretch. It's a coin that if you went through maybe about $50 in pennies, you could probably find one or two of these, especially if you live on the eastern side of the U.S., where these are commonly found. So this one right here sold for $8. Can't ask for anything more. The next coin right here is really cool. We have a 2012 Denali State Park quarter. Okay, as you can see, there's a lot of weakness going on not only the obverse, but the reverse of the coin. This coin obviously has been struck through a copious amounts of grease on actual dies when they were being struck. So there's probably a few of them that look like this. This particular coin right here in this particular condition sold for $7.25. Right, that's not bad considering that all that was invested was a quarter plus fees. You know, if you sold it on eBay. By the way, I love the wood grain of the table in the background. That's very, very 1980s looking. Okay, so the next coin that we have here is a really nice high-graded 1980 Philadelphia Caddy half dollar. Okay, so for those of you guys that like to hunt through half dollars, this is another potential when it comes to a prospecting error or variety. This one right here, as you can see on the obverse, has a pretty nice sizable rim cut. So this was actually a piece of the die that had broken off while these things were being struck at one point. So when that piece of the die is completely missing on the strike, then it's going to come out as a void on there. And so if you wanted a close-up, there it is. It's top of the T of Liberty. I've actually found this particular cut before. And it's a good coin to find. You know, we go through half dollars because silver is the big, I guess, interest point when it comes to searching, coin roll hunting, that particular denomination. So this one right here sold for $9.25, which is about close to double of what I guess a 90% silver would be. So this is definitely a worthwhile pull if you do come across it. So make sure you look for these minor cuts and little die chips and die breaks. Okay, they're actually worth more than meets the eye. All right, so we have a 1971. This is a Denver minted Lincoln Memorial cent. Unfortunately, the seller did not have full, complete images of the obverse and the reverse. Okay, I like to tell folks, if you can, when you're selling these, is that you take a whole picture of the front and the back of the coin to show the overall condition. And then you could go ahead and take care of those close-ups like the date that you see here. Now, this is a doubled die obverse number 1. Okay, you can see it very prominently on not only the 1, but the 7 especially. You can see the notching. You can see the secondary 7 in there. This is a really good one to find, but not a lot of people know that the 71 Denver holds this kind of double die secret, and now you know. All right, so if you take a look at Liberty, wow, lots of great spread here. This is a very strong doubled die. And then finally, the motto, "In God We Trust," is going to show this similar type of doubling on there as well. So this one right here sold through 7 bids for $25.50 total. Okay, which is a good deal of money for a coin that looks to be about an XF45, maybe AU50. The coin has seen circulation. You can see little nicks and stuff on the coin. So, you know, it's a coin that's circulated, but yet still worth pulling out. As you can see, $25.50. says so. All right, so make sure you keep an eye for this one. Not a lot of people know about this double die. So my affinity for off-center struck error coins has never been stronger. There's been quite a nice selection of these on here. Now, this one is sold by a seller named Telstar Coin, okay, who sells quite a few coins on a weekly basis. All right, so if you're looking for some legit U.S. Mint errors, check out Telstar. He's got some great inventory. But what we have here is a 1980p Jefferson nickel. This one is struck about 80% off center. It's got a full date and then a mint mark as well. This is just a great looking piece, you know, to add to an error collection. And this one sold for $24.75. An exceptional coin. All right, so here's another Telstar coin sale. This time it's a double struck Lincoln Memorial cent. Yeah, we don't come across these in change, not by much. But if you're looking, you know, through the auction circuit or through a local coin shop, someone's selling this for like $5, you at least ought to know what you're looking at. So this 2000 Philadelphia Lincoln Memorial, okay, it's double struck. The second strike is roughly about 90% off center. Maybe 85%, but you know, you can see it right there. It's what they call uniface. You have a completely struck secondary strike here, but on the reverse, you know, you don't see much except United that's been stretched out from the host coin before it was double struck. So this one right here sold for $61.25. Can you imagine if the double struck part of it has a full date? Now, we'd be talking like a huge amount of money, probably 2 to 3 times what this one sold for. Really nice coin. And then here's another Telstar. This time it's a 2006p South Dakota State quarter. This one has a relatively fat edge on it. Okay, so some would say it's either an off-center strike or a misaligned die. But there is also one other anomaly that could cause this, okay, and that's called a partial collar. All right, so when these things are struck, okay, there's 2 sides of the collar that seat the coin in as he's being struck. If one of the collars is not fully up and wrapping the coin as it should, okay, then you're going to get this phenomenon here. So you can see kind of like a half struck reading on there. Now this is probably more of a weaker type of partial tilted collar, but in any event, it is one. This one right here sold for $11. Who would have thought that this coin would sell for 44 times face value? And now you do. All right, so these are relatively common. Again, not a lot of people know that this is an actual legitimate error, but take a look at that edge. Okay, if you have kind of that railroaded, kind of like half struck reeded edge, then you more than likely have a partial collar. All right, which is a very cool error. All right, so if you like, you know, checking out some of the older coins, this is one to keep an eye out on. It's a 1923 Philadelphia peace dollar. Now, this is a very well-known, I believe it's a top 100 VAM. Okay, it's a VAM variety. If you guys need more information on VAMs, which you can find on peace dollars and Morgan dollars, check out VAMworld.com. It's a great resource. But this one is affectionately referred to as the bar chin. So you can see this line coming down from the tip of the chin here on Lady Liberty, and it goes all the way down to the 1. Okay, in actuality, that is VAM 1F. Okay, it's a very cool looking VAM, and it's a very popular one at that. That is caused by a little bit of a die gouge. All right, so maybe a working tool fell onto the die and caused this kind of like shallow depression on the die, which looks like a raised bar or an event right here on the coin. This one right here sold for $75. Keeping in mind, it's a common date, 23 Philadelphia. To find one in uncirculated, you're probably looking about 35 to 40 bucks. So this was a quick, easy double up when it comes to the amount of money made on the coin. So outstanding cherry pick. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cross over to proof sets. Now, proof sets provide a whole world of possibilities. And I don't think these coins, especially during the mid-70s, get its fair shake. All right, and what I mean by that is there's a lot of different kind of like minor varieties and possibly a few errors that can be found on these coins. Right in front of you, we have a 1974S Eisenhower dollar proof. Okay, it's got some of that regular milky hazy toning that is kind of par for the course for these coins. Call it environmental reasons based off of the original case and insert and all that stuff. A lot of these were stored in areas of high humidity, so that's also a contributing factor to the fugly haze on these things. But this one right here exhibits minor doubled die on, I believe, the obverse and the reverse of the coin. Okay, so we got a few close-ups here, courtesy of the seller. Now, I believe this one is not recognized in the Cherry Picker's Guide, but we have E pluribus unum on the reverse of the coin that shows distinct notching on the top left of all the devices. Okay, so this is a very minor doubled die. Someone had mentioned in one of my videos that I don't need a magnifier to look at these things. I could see it with a naked eye. I call BS on that. Because in order to find something like this, you would most certainly need at least a 10 times power hand loop magnifier, jeweler's loop. If you guys need some or need one, I do have Amazon links below in the description box. Go ahead and take a look. They can be had for like $6 to $10, depending on how strong you need your magnifier. But the images shown here, I believe, were taken with a digital USB microscope. So that's why they could get so close to it. But based on the amount of money this coin sold for, you might want to consider looking through your proof sets. So here's one of the stars on the reverse. You can see the notching right there, and then right here, and then some of the fatness on the bottom points of the star. And then here on doll hair, you can see the incredible notching. You can see the split line right here in the A in dollar. And then to a lesser extent, the bottom left of the L in dollar right there, the second L. But this coin right here, ladies and gentlemen, sold for $54.99. Okay, all it takes is one bit to snatch it up. I think a combination of the toning, which is kind of a love and hate thing when it comes to these proof set toners. But, you know, along with the variety, as minor as it is, but the pictures are exceptional. They tell the story, and that's why it sold for the amount of money it did. Considering the fact that this is really a $4 to $5 coin without the variety. All right, so that's a pretty big discrepancy from a base coin to a coin with a lot more personality with the double die reverse and the toning. Okay, I saw this coin, and it's like, man, I got to talk about this one because I've talked about rim clips here in the last like 4 to 5 weeks. Okay, so we have another clip here, but this one is called a ragged clip. Okay, so it's like cutting a piece of paper using a beat up, gnarly pair of scissors, okay, with dented edges and all that stuff. You're going to get this rough looking cut right here. Okay, now keep in mind this coin also has a little bit of the Blakesley effect. You have some flattening on the corresponding opposite edge of the coin. But with a ragged clip, the edge is going to look like this right on the clip part of it. You know, it's a combination of a clip, and it's also a combination of a planchet that probably is a little bit defective in nature. This one right here is sold for $20. Not bad. One of my favorite varieties. All right, this is the 1960D Lincoln Memorial Cent. Okay, it's also referred to as the small date over large date. And it's also an RPM, so it has a lot of things going for it. So it's a tremendous variety. Okay, when you look up close, even has a little bit of mechanical doubling, but you can see the fatness of the zero. You can see the top tail of the secondary small 6 here, along right here as well. And then the D is right here. Okay, but because of the patina and age of the coin with a little bit of wear, it tends to skew things a little bit. But this is a really cool variety and also incredibly valuable. So when you have the opportunity, 1960D large dates, they are super plentiful. There is millions upon tens of hundreds of millions of this date and mint mark produced. So you're bound, after looking through a bunch of them, you're bound to find something like this. This one right here is also WDDO 001. And it sold for $75. Wow, that's incredible. That's a good deal, a good chunk of money for this type of coin. So definitely keep an eye out for this. Okay, so 1995 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is also DDO number 1, FS101 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This is a very strong, very common double die, but still very marketable. As you can see, Liberty has incredible amounts of spread and also the motto. So it's stronger left to right. The words in and God have a lot more of the doubling than we trust. Okay, so keep that in mind. This is a coin that sold for 45 bucks. Very nice condition, might I add. What we have here is a piece of currency that I think a lot of us have seen with the red serial numbers and red treasury seal. This is a 1953 series, $2 legal red seal certificate or just banknote. Okay, it's legal tender. You can use it and spend it as you wish. But the front of the note doesn't look anything spectacular. It's a nice, pleasing AU condition. You can see, some minor edge issues, like it's seen a little bit of wear, a few little crinkles and wrinkles in the middle of the note. But the back, that's where everything's at. The second print is badly misaligned on this note. I'm willing to bet it affected the whole entire sheet as well. So it's not a miscut because the front of the note is perfectly centered. The reverse second print is way, way, way off. All right, that makes for a really cool error. This one sold for $110.50 here in the last day. So we have a number of off-center coins back to back. So we have 3 of them. They're all from the same seller, and you're going to see just, I guess, the rarity from one day to another because it's going to surprise you starting out. So we have a 1951D Lincoln Wheat Cent that is approximately 75% off-center, thereabouts. It might be a little bit off, but this one sold for $49. And it's in nice shape. A nice mint state, kind of like red-brown. All right. It also does have a little rim bump here on the blank side of it. Here's a 68S. This, I could say, is one of the tougher dates to find with an off-center strike and a full date. So this one definitely hits, check marks all the boxes when it comes to desirability. But this one right here is off-center by about 30%, and this one sold for $73. Okay, it's over $20 more than the previous coin, even though it is 17 years older. Okay, and then we have a 51. This is a Philadelphia Lincoln Wheat Cent. This one is off-center by about 60%, and then this one sold for $79. This coin here is probably the lowest grade out of the 3 that we had seen because it's got a full brown changeover in the patina on this copper, but really nice coin. Okay, for $79, that kind of tells you that this is one of the more tougher dates to find with a very involved off-center strike and a full date. Pretty cool coin. Letting you guys know, $25 boxes of pennies have been selling like hotcakes. This one right here on the really nice whitish peppery carpet sold for $79 freaking dollars. So yes, if you're able to get a hold of these and you don't want to particularly crack them out, letting you know that they are selling for like 75 to 80 bucks, 3 times face. When it's all said and done, you'll probably profit about $30, $35. Okay, so if you want to do that, make a quick extra buck, you could do so. All right, so we got no date Roosevelt dime. Okay, this is significant because we don't see off-center strikes that often on Roosevelt dimes. So this one right here is pretty nice. It doesn't have a date though, so it's a no date type of off-center. You would think it's not as desirable, but you know, it's a solid, clean coin. This one right here is off-center about 70%, and it sold for $23. So I'd like to mention that the salmon-colored background really ties this coin together. Now here's a kind of like, you know, sneaky inclusion into the PCMR. It's a 97D. A really common, kind of like forgettable date. Well, it's not forgettable for me. I graduated in 97, but this one right here has a just subtle rim clip, right? And it's like, man, I've probably spent a whole bunch of these and didn't even think about it. But this one right here, 97D with a shallow rim clip, sold for $11.50. I gotta remind myself not to throw these back. I've done it before as recently as a few years ago because I always thought they were the minor thing. But, you know, the purest error would save every single one of these. So that's my bad. But yeah, $11. That's pretty crazy. I wish I would have saved all mine. All right, so who loves more paper currency errors? I'm surprised this one is not in a graded holder. So we have a 1957 series $1 silver certificate. Okay, the strange thing is, okay, we all know that this is a star note. What do star notes represent in paper currency? They're replacement notes. They are supposed to replace damaged or misprinted notes in production. But here's the cruelest twist of fate of irony in this one. Okay, this is an error note star note. Talk about the weirdest thing that you could possibly ever find. But the third print is shifted way off. Okay, it's so far off. The serial number is overlapping the actual the portrait right here, and then everything else is shifted to the right. This is such an incredible note and one that I like to see. But I'm just surprised it's not graded. This one right here sold for, get this, through 34 total bids, $292.95. The back of the note shows no funny business. It's as regular as you can get. But yeah, almost 300 bones for this thing. Okay, so this is the only foreign coin on the list, but it's Canadian, right? It's, you know, Canadian collectors are very impassioned when it comes to their error coins. But what we have here is a 1968 penny that's been struck through a die cap. Okay, a very early state one at that, because you could see the date, and you could see just the maple leaves still fully struck on that host coin. This is just an incredible example. This one right here sold for $159.67, which seems like a lot of money, but it's worth every penny to the Canadian collector base. So we have a 1996p Jefferson nickel. Okay, and we're just going to focus on the nickel, but there is a quarter that's been added to this image, okay, to help signify a Broadstrike that is as big as a quarter. And it's just an amazing error. But this one right here was struck with no collar. Okay, and the metal flow has to go somewhere, so it goes out. So it effectively makes a Jefferson nickel the size of a quarter. And the reverse shows that as well. It's just about perfectly centered, which is really nice. You usually see these off-centered. And the steps look phenomenal on here. But this one right here sold for $35.75. And yes, they are worth that kind of money, especially the centered Broadstrikes. And then finally, we are going to end it off on a relatively tougher date Washington quarter in high grades. What we have here is a 1983p Washington quarter that's off-center struck by about 35%. It's a very, very wild-looking error on an otherwise tough date. And, you combine both of them together, and, you have a coin that sold for $135.33. Which seems like a lot, I know, but, considering the age of the coin, it's not like super old. And, we saw a few Lincoln wheat cents that appeared much more impressive than this one. But trust me, 1983p is incredibly tough for a lot of reasons. And that's probably why I hoard just regular circulated 83s, is because they are worth something to someone. And, case in point, I sell them all the time when I can. But this is the final coin of the Pocket Change Market Report for the week. Really cool stuff. So hopefully this was plenty of incentive for each and every single one of you to go out there and search away. There's a lot of gravy left out there on the proverbial coin biscuit. That sounds corny, I know, but come on. Coins are out there. People are beginning to deposit the coins because they either need the money, because of what's happening these days with the whole sickness thing, or because of the holidays. We are coming up to the last week of October, believe it or not, and then we are going to be in full holiday mode with November and December. Okay, so I expect to see more coinage flowing through the system, along with all the brand new stuff that the U.S. Mint is pumping out. So take that into consideration. There's a lot of brand new coins for 2020 that also should be high on your list. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Hopefully you enjoyed today's little episode. Like, share, subscribe. Hit that good old bell for instant notifications. And as always, Coinaholics, we are discovering together. I would love to hear your hunting exploits. And by the way, we are on Monday night for the live coin Q&A live stream with our panel. If you have a coin question, go ahead and check it out. Again, that channel is live coin Q&A. Should be a lot of fun. It was a pleasure. You guys take care. Have a great weekend.